thank you for being here and having brain cells to listen to Garbicz University level talks. My name is Dr. Zhana Vrangalova. I'm a professor of human sexuality at New York University, and I study sexuality and relationships. My background is in developmental psychology, a PhD from Cornell, where I studied casual sex, non-monogamy, and sexual orientation, and how they relate to mental health and well-being. And what I've been really obsessed with for the last 15 years or so is how to help people make sense of the research that we have about sex and relationships to build thriving, authentic, satisfying relationships that fit who they are and what they need, even if that doesn't fit inside the box, inside the societal box that is given to us as acceptable. So, and since then I've also done, so I teach at NYU and I do a lot of speaking, writing, consulting, couples, individuals, couples, all sorts of relational units on how to build these relationships. What I'm going to talk to you about today is finding the right relationship type for you. Excited about that? All right. Great. Humans have a lot of different needs in order to survive and thrive, but you can boil them down to two basic universal needs that we all have to some extent. One is our need for security, safety, stability. That's a survival, and there's a lot of physiological needs and there are a lot of psychological needs that we have to ensure that we are safe, secure, that we have food and water and shelter and love and belonging and social status and respect. All of those things are about security. And that's basic. We can't survive without that. And we're born completely helpless, and we need someone, we need to rely on other people to meet those needs for security that stay with us for the rest of our lives. Our other need is for exploration, for growth, for going in outer space. And we have that from the moment we're born as well. Babies are little exploration machines. You saw the little one, running around, exploring everything. And that stays with us for as long as we live. Now all humans have these two needs, both in life and in love and relationships. We all have these needs to some extent. But we differ quite a bit in how much we need them. They exist on a spectrum from very low, medium, high. Right? Some of us, to talk more specifically about romantic relationships, right? Some of us need a lot of relational security from and in our relationships, from the people or the person that we are with. Others are more of a loner. They don't need to intertwine their lives a lot with other people. In terms of exploration, same thing. Some of us don't need much to be content with. A little bit of, excitement here and there. Others are exploration super sluts. We want lots of things, lots of people, lots of everything. Any exploration super sluts here? Like myself? The others are afraid to admit, I don't know, if you're a Garbicz, you might be medium or high. And why we are where we are on these two spectra depends and varies based on our biology. So there are a lot of genetic reasons for why we find where we find ourselves. For exploration in particular, there's tons of research looking at the dopamine system in the brain, the reward system in the brain, that shows a lot of genetic variety between people. Some of us got a very adventurous combination of genes. Some of us got a more cautious, less adventurous version of those genes. To some extent, the need for security is the same. And then, of course, we have all of our life experiences and circumstances that put us high or low, medium, high or low on the other one. And that can change over the course of our lives. It shifts back and forth, depending on what's happening with our lives, depending on what partners we're in, depending on how long our relationships have been, and how secure we feel in them. And so, most people think of our need for security and exploration as in conflict, as a binary thing, or as something that is on a single continuum. So the more you want one, the less you want the other, or vice versa. But the reality is, it's not like that at all. These are two separate, independent needs, and you can think of them as existing on a grid, right? Security, exploration. And security needs to come first, because you need to put the exploration on a stable base. Without a stable base, it's shaky. We don't feel good if we try to explore too fast, too soon without that secure base. So translate this into relationships and the type of relationships that we want to have. There are different types of relationships cater to these different needs that we have. People who have high need for security in our relationships and not a lot of need for exploration, what's a good relationship type for them, you think? Monogamy. Monogamy is great for people who want a lot of stability and not a lot of craziness. The people who want a lot of exploration and not a lot of security, what kind of life is good for them? What do you think? Swingers? Not quite. Single. Yeah, a single life. You don't intertwine your life with anybody else. You're on your own, and you can go have all the casual sex you want, all the lovers, all the friends with benefits, all the fun. But no attachment-based, no long-term serious relationships. And so those are usually the two options that are given to us, and that fit some people. But then there are the other diagonal, the people who want both security and exploration. Who wants both security and exploration? Okay. Hi. What kind of relationship would be good for us? A relationship situation. Ethical non-monogamy, or some form of non-monogamy, preferably the ethical version, right? Non-monogamy, multiple partners that are both, so you have both attachments, the long-term stability, commitment, love that a relationship, a romantic relationship can give, and some level of openness, whether that's more of the casual type, which is a little safer and easier to navigate, one attachment relationship and other side pieces, or it's of the polyamory kind, multiple attachment-based romantic serious relationships. That's a little less secure. That's kind of in the middle of security, because multiple relationships, real serious relationships, are harder to navigate. When feelings get involved, things get a little more complicated. You need to do a lot. You need to have a very secure relationship to begin with, and you need to work harder on maintaining and making sure that that relationship is secure in order to open it up to other loves. But people do it. It can be done. And then you have the lower left side of the quadrant, which is for the people who don't want a lot of or any relational security and not much or any exploration, sexual erotic exploration. For those people, what kind of relationship life would they have? Depression? No, but they want that. You're projecting your own needs and desires onto those people. What do those people thrive in? People who don't need a lot of relational security nor erotic exploration. Monastery. Yeah, celibacy. Yeah, a form of celibacy, right? They just don't need sex and love in that form. Not that many of us, but there are some. There are actually more than you would think. We recently did a survey of supposedly a nationally representative sample of Americans, and we asked them about their ideal relationship type. What percentage of men do you think said that they want, that their ideal relationship is no sex or love? What percent of men? About 50. Damn. 10% of men. What percent of women do you think? 30? Less? 20. That's a lot. A tenth of men and a fifth of women said ideal relationship is no relationship at all, or sex. So it's not as uncommon as it might seem to us here. So anyway, you can use this prism, this grid of security and exploration to figure out, first of all, the goal is, first of all, figuring out where you are. What do you need? How much of the stability you need? How much exploration you need? And then if you have a partner, where are they? What do they need? Our relationships are going to look quite different if we are similar to our partners in this is what I call our relationship orientation, right? Our spot on that grid of security and exploration. So if our partner has a similar relationship orientation, it's going to be much easier to kind of mesh our lifestyles and figure out how we want to live. If our partner is farther away from us, we can still make it work, but it's usually a little harder. It takes a little bit more work to figure out, okay, are we going to compromise, like meet in the middle? Or is one of us going to sacrifice that so that we can live, the way the other person wants? I think of these as countries, different countries on the relationship landscape, and you can sort of choose and figure out where you want to live and when. And of course, you can have a long distance relationship, which have different types of relationships. So if, say, you are more of the monogamous kind, but your partner needs more of an open relationship or a swinger type relationship, then you can do monogamy. You can have a mono-open relationship, right? One person is monogamous, the other person goes off and has dates with other people. So there are a couple of different options, even for people who are in these mixed relationship orientation relationships. But it's important, right, to know where you are, where your partner is, and also that shifts, right, over time. And so be cognizant, be vigilant of how those shifts occur. And then think about going slowly, always thinking of security first, and then adding exploration. So for the majority of people, and this is not for everybody by any means, but for many people who are interested in having a long-term, serious relationship that is open to some extent in some way, don't start with polyamory. Please, I beg you, don't start with polyamory. Start maybe with a period of monogamy. Form that stable base. Then maybe go to monogamish. Play a little bit, flirt, kiss, make out, go to a sex party and don't play with anybody but your partner. Dip your toes a little bit. And then open up more and more as you learn how you are with other people, how your partner is with other people, what are the insecurities that are going to pop up. We often have no idea about some of the insecurities that are going to pop up until we start opening up. And so take baby steps until it's more and more and more secure. One of the things that is very common in people who open up their relationships is that they start with a lot of rules, right? They create a container that has a lot of rules so that we can feel safe. And then as we get to do it and experience and see our partners how they are in that, some of those rules slowly fall away. And a few years down the line, usually just use condoms is the one that remains. For the most part. I mean, everyone's different, but. So there you are. That's your recipe. Security, exploration, find where you are, and then build a relationship that's in line with where you are. Thank you.